Most shooters think the fight is simple. Quiet PCP power on one side, brutal centerfire energy on the other. But both choices come with compromises that can wreck your budget, your range time, or your accuracy. Right between them sits a cartridge most shooters seriously underestimate, the .22 Magnum. It hits harder than a typical air rifle, costs less to run than Centerfire, and stays useful far beyond backyard distance. So we ranked the 7 best .22 Magnum rifles of 2026, and the rifle at number 1 proves old-school precision can still beat modern hype. Number 7. The Henry Frontier Lever Action. Moving on, this is the rifle for shooters who still believe walnut and blued steel belong in the field. The Frontier feeds on .22 Magnum and carries 12 to 16 rounds in its tubular magazine, depending on barrel length. You can choose a 20-inch or 24-inch octagonal barrel, with the longer version giving the rifle a steady, front-heavy feel when shooting offhand. Under the hood, the lever-action mechanism cycles the bolt, extracts the empty case, and lifts a fresh round from the magazine tube in one smooth movement. That matters because you can stay on target and fire a quick follow-up shot without lifting your head to work a traditional bolt. The action feels mechanical, deliberate, and satisfying, like closing the door on an old American pickup. That heavy octagonal barrel is not just there for cowboy looks. The extra steel helps calm barrel movement and gives the rifle a stable balance from field positions. Recoil is barely more than a polite nudge, while the .22 Magnum still delivers substantially more reach and energy than a standard .22 long rifle. Here is the deal. The loading system is the annoyance. You have to pull the inner magazine tube forward and feed rounds through the loading port near the muzzle. It is slower and less convenient than swapping a detachable box magazine, especially when your hands are cold. Street price usually lands between $500 and $600. You are buying reliable mechanics, excellent capacity, and classic character, not match rifle ergonomics. Number 6. The Browning T-Bolt Target Varmint. Stepping up the game, this is where classic walnut meets one of the fastest manually operated rimfire actions on the market. The T-Bolt feeds on .22 Magnum through a 10-round double helix rotary magazine, while its 22-inch barrel gives the cartridge enough length to burn efficiently and maintain useful velocity downrange. At roughly 5.5 pounds, it stays light enough for field carry without feeling flimsy on the bench. What makes this rifle different is the straight pull bolt system. Instead of lifting, pulling, pushing, and rotating a conventional bolt handle, you pull the handle straight back and drive it straight forward. Internal locking lugs secure the action when the bolt closes, giving you the mechanical strength of a manually locked rifle with a much faster operating cycle. That matters when a target moves, or when you need a quick second shot without twisting your wrist and disturbing your shooting position. The double helix magazine is another clever piece of engineering. It guides 10 cartridges through a compact figure-8 track, allowing the magazine to sit almost completely flush with the bottom of the stock. Nothing hangs down to snag on brush or dig into your hand. The trigger breaks with a crisp snap, like a thin sheet of ice giving way, while recoil barely flicks the rifle off target. Now for the deal breaker: value. The damage to your wallet is usually between $830 and $950, which puts this rifle dangerously close to premium Centerfire money. Replacement magazines are not as common or as cheap as standard Ruger-style rotary magazines either. Still, you are paying for speed, refined machining, and a rifle that feels more like a handcrafted sporting arm than a mass-produced tool. The Browning is fast, elegant, and genuinely different, but budget hunters may struggle to justify the premium. Number 5. The Ruger American Rimfire Target. Stepping up the game, this is the practical workhorse of the list. The Ruger feeds on .22 Magnum through a 9-round rotary magazine and runs an 18-inch cold hammer-forged bull barrel. Depending on the stock configuration, weight ranges from 5.3 to 6.7 pounds, giving it enough mass to stay planted without turning it into a bench-only rifle. The real mechanical advantage is Ruger's power bedding system. 2 rigid bedding blocks lock the receiver into the stock while allowing the barrel to remain completely free-floating. That separation matters because pressure from the stock cannot push against the barrel as temperature, humidity, or shooting position changes. The result is more consistent barrel harmonics and fewer unexplained shifts in point of impact. Its marksman adjustable trigger can be tuned between roughly 3 and 5 pounds. The break feels clean and predictable, more like snapping a plastic zip tie than dragging a spoon through wet cement. Recoil gives you a small push, and the heavy barrel helps the sight picture settle quickly for another shot. The flush-fitting magazine also keeps the rifle comfortable on sandbags or when carried against your body. Here is the annoyance: the factory stock can feel hollow and less refined than the walnut on the Henry or the Browning. Some shooters may also find the bull barrel makes the rifle feel nose-heavy during long offhand sessions. It shoots better than its plain appearance suggests, but nobody is going to mistake it for a handcrafted European rimfire. The damage to your wallet usually falls between $500 and $639. That buys you dependable bedding, an adjustable trigger, and field-ready accuracy without premium rifle pricing. And listen, this Ruger is solid, but the rifle waiting at number 1 takes the same idea of practical precision and pushes it into another class entirely. Number 4. The Bergara BMR. Now we get serious. The Bergara micro rifle was built to feel like a Centerfire precision gun without forcing you to burn expensive Centerfire ammunition every weekend. It feeds on .22 Magnum, comes with both 5-round and 10-round magazines, and offers either an 18-inch or 20-inch barrel. At roughly 5.8 pounds, it is light enough to carry but still steady enough for disciplined positional shooting. The key mechanism is its match-style chamber paired with a heavy number 6 contour barrel. A tighter chamber supports the cartridge more consistently, while the thicker barrel resists vibration and heat-related movement. That matters because fewer changes in barrel harmonics usually mean tighter groups and a more predictable point of impact. The shot breaks with a sharp glass rod snap, and the rifle gives back little more than a quick pulse through the stock. Under the receiver, Bergara uses a trigger pattern based on the Remington 700 footprint. That opens the door to a huge aftermarket of replacement triggers, allowing the rifle to grow with the shooter. Up top, the 30 MOA rail preserves more elevation adjustment inside the scope, which becomes useful when you start stretching the .22 Magnum beyond normal hunting distance. Now for the deal breaker. The factory magazines are functional, but they do not feel as polished as the rest of the rifle. Feeding can also become ammunition sensitive when you combine a tight chamber with certain cartridge profiles. This is not a rifle that rewards grabbing the cheapest box on the shelf and sending it. Sets you back around $619 to $799, depending on the barrel configuration. For that money, you get a legitimate training rifle with Centerfire manners, serious accuracy potential, and one of the strongest upgrade paths on this list. Sound off below, would you choose this precision trainer or spend the money on a full-size Centerfire rifle? Number 3. The Savage, A22 Magnum. Entering the elite tier, this is the rifle for shooters who want fast follow-up shots without giving up the reach of .22 Magnum. It runs a 21-inch button-rifled barrel, weighs roughly 5.6 pounds, and feeds from a 10-round rotary magazine. The balance stays light and quick, making it especially useful when several small targets appear before you have time to reset behind a slower bolt gun. The real story is Savage's delayed blowback operating system. Standard blowback actions can begin opening while chamber pressure is still dangerously high, which is a serious problem with the hotter A22 Magnum cartridge. Savage uses an interrupter lug to hold the bolt closed for a fraction longer, allowing pressure to drop before extraction begins. That delay reduces stress on the case, improves reliability, and keeps the cycling speed under control. Its AccuTrigger uses a central safety blade that blocks the sear unless the trigger is deliberately pressed. This allows Savage to offer a lighter pull without making the rifle dangerously easy to discharge from an impact. The break feels quick and metallic, like clipping a thin wire with sharp cutters. Recoil is only a short bump, so the sights return almost immediately for another shot. The deal breaker is the overall finish. The molded stock and utilitarian exterior feel cheaper than the Bergara or Browning, and the rotary magazine can be awkward to seat until you learn the correct angle. Nothing about it feels luxurious. Street price usually runs between $519 and $769. What you are paying for is speed, proven pressure control, and one of the most technically interesting semi-automatic .22 Magnum actions available. Number 2. The Christensen Arms MPR Rimfire. Closer to the crown, this is where .22 Magnum stops feeling like a basic rimfire and starts behaving like a scaled-down precision rifle. The MPR uses a machined aluminum chassis, a folding stock, and a carbon fiber handguard with MLOK attachment slots. Barrel options generally run from 16 to 20 inches, while the complete rifle stays near 6.2 pounds. The main technical advantage is the carbon-wrapped barrel. A thin steel barrel liner provides the rifling and contains chamber pressure, while the carbon fiber outer structure adds stiffness without the weight of a full steel bull barrel. That stiffness helps control barrel vibration as the bullet exits the crown, giving the rifle a more repeatable point of impact without making it miserable to carry through steep terrain. Behind the trigger sits a TriggerTech unit that uses a roller-based release system to reduce sliding friction between internal surfaces. Instead of dragging through gritty sear engagement, the trigger breaks with a crisp click, like splitting a frozen twig between two fingers. Recoil feels like a quick tap against the shoulder, and the adjustable stock helps you keep the rifle centered behind the optic. Here is the deal breaker. The price is brutal. Depending on configuration, it can set you back anywhere from $1,250 to $2,100. That is serious money for a rimfire, especially when the Bergara offers strong precision features for far less. Still, the Christensen gives you folding portability, low weight, excellent adjustability, and premium barrel technology in one package. It is more refined than the Savage, more configurable than the Bergara, and dangerously close to taking the crown. Number 1. The CZ457 American. At the top of the list sits the rifle that gets the fundamentals right without hiding behind carbon fiber, oversized chassis parts, or marketing noise. The CZ457 American feeds on .22 Magnum through a detachable 5-round magazine, uses a 24.8-inch cold hammer-forged barrel, and weighs a little over 6 pounds. Its Turkish walnut stock gives it the balance of a traditional hunting rifle, while keeping the receiver ready for a properly mounted scope. The cold hammer-forged barrel is the heart of this rifle. During manufacturing, steel is shaped around a rifling mandrel under enormous pressure, creating a durable bore with consistent internal dimensions. That consistency matters because the bullet enters the rifling the same way from shot to shot. Combined with a carefully finished crown, The barrel releases each round with minimal disturbance. The trigger breaks like a thin glass rod, and the recoil is little more than a firm fingertip tap. Its 60-degree bolt throw is another major advantage. Compared with the longer movement of many traditional rimfire actions, the shorter lift keeps the bolt handle away from large scope eyepieces and lets you cycle the rifle without breaking your cheek weld. The adjustable trigger also allows the shooter to tune pull weight, creep, and over-travel instead of accepting a single factory setting. Here is why it takes the throne. The CZ delivers the practical accuracy of the Bergara BMR without relying on a heavy tactical layout. It offers traditional refinement and field balance, while the Christensen MPR starts at roughly twice the CZ's entry price and can cost considerably more in premium configurations. Compared with the Savage A22 Magnum, it gives up rapid semi-automatic follow-up shots, but rewards you with cleaner handling, a more controlled action, and a more traditional shooting experience. Street price generally falls between $629 and $749. That is not bargain bin money, but it buys real barrel quality, modular caliber options, excellent ergonomics, and a rifle that works equally well from a bench, a truck, or a quiet patch of hunting ground. No gimmicks, no unnecessary bulk, just dependable .22 Magnum precision. That is why the CZ457 American owns the #1 spot. So which platform is actually superior? PCP, Centerfire, or .22 Magnum? Honestly, there is no single winner for every shooter. PCP dominates when low noise, cheap trigger time, and backyard-friendly practice matter most. Centerfire still owns the serious energy, extended range, and terminal performance needed for larger game and demanding field conditions. But for hunters and shooters who want more reach than a typical air rifle without the noise, recoil, and cost of Centerfire, .22 Magnum hits the sweet spot. And that is exactly why these 7 rifles matter. The Henry brings old-school character. The Browning delivers speed with mechanical elegance. Ruger gives you practical value. Bergara builds a serious training tool. Savage solves the semi-automatic reliability problem. Christensen pushes rimfire technology into premium territory. But the CZ457 American takes the crown because it blends accuracy, field balance, barrel quality, and price better than anything else on this list. Now sound off below. Which rifle would you trust? And which one did we rank too high? Train hard, stay safe, and I will see you downrange.